Welcome, friends, to the Here I Go Again podcast, where we discuss life, faith, politics, and a whole lot more. I'm your host, Rob Standridge, and I'm glad you're joining us today. So with that, here we go. Welcome to the Here I Go Again podcast. This is our episode. Let me look off camera for my awesome assistant, Holly. What is this, our 11th episode, Holly?
Yes.
11th episode with Don Spencer, President, Chairman, CEO, whatever else, of Oklahoma Second Amendment Association. So, Don, in this election season, how are things going now?
It's quite interesting. Each election season, I try to learn from what worked and what didn't work, and we're using some of those applications now, and I think it's going to work well for us.
Awesome. You have I assume you have candidates all over the state that are strong for Second Amendment, strong for the things that your group believes in.
One thing about the Oklahoma Second Amendment Association, we are a gun group, or we're a liberty group, but we realize it may take guns to maintain that liberty. But we're about liberty. So it's First Amendment, it's Second Amendment, Fourth and Fifth, and right down the line, because the fact that if you don't have the First Amendment protected, it will eat away to destroy the Second Amendment, and then the Second Amendment ultimately protects the rest of the Constitution. Yeah. So for us, people are like, well, what do you care about abortion? What do you care about this? Well, if a baby dies before it gets a chance to be born, it never gets to exercise a Second Amendment right. Yeah. I hate to be real practical, but that's what that's
Something about
like.
Life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Exactly, life, and we need to wear that phrase out. So it's OK2A's mission. I actually look at this as a mission field because a lot of people had no clue, especially as a CLEAT certified instructor, and you teach a class on firearms, that they had no clue that the right to self-preservation is God-given. So it gave me this opportunity to introduce this to people. They know you need to be able to defend yourself, and then also to educate them on Oklahoma law and stuff. But Oklahoma is horrible, even to this day, gun laws. Horrible.
Is there a ranking like gun
yes.
laws?
We did. We went from when OK2A started in 2009, we were at about 38.
Okay.
And so we actually creeped up into the top 5, and then we've creeped probably back out of the top 10 because there's been so many states that have gone to constitutional carry that have by far more rights in their states than what we do respected rights in our states.
So probably the 38 was because we didn't have constitutional carry.
No, the 38 is because we
didn't have OK2A.
Well, that's exactly a lot of it.
That's right.
But a lot of it was the fact that, Rob, you voted for this stuff.
Yeah.
It used to be a felony that if you got on a public bus just peacefully carrying a gun, it was a $10,000 10-year felony. Even if that bus was deceased on your own private property. Oklahoma law was actually stricter than Washington, D.C.
Wow, I didn't know
It was
that. Okay.
horrible.
Wow,
horrible.
okay.
And so OK2A, in our 16 years, we've worked and repealed 13 felonies for the peaceful ownership or possession of a firearm.
Oh, wow.
And for me, it started because armed security guard, I wanted to take the class, and it was a felony to leave my gun in the car to take an armed security guard class. It was stupid.
Yeah.
And so OK2A's mission has also been to take the stupid out of Oklahoma gun laws.
Yeah.
So we still have a long ways to go. The no gun zones, and a person should never ever have to think for 2 seconds, is it okay for me to carry a firearm here for self-defense? It should not be. There's going to be people get mad at me. There's going to be a couple of places. Yeah, you can't carry into a jail or prison.
Right.
We got that. A courtroom can be such high tension, and the judge needs to maintain control of that space. And so I'm willing to concede, but folks outside of that, outside of a mental institution, we should be carrying guns there for self-defense.
You know, we've talked about this in the past, and I want to go back in time with you in a minute, but before that, one thing that was always a pet peeve of mine, having two daughters, one of mine is right here.
It's a pet peeve having two daughters?
No, pet peeve that we don't have campus carry.
Yes.
Because you have a young woman out on campus alone, and you say, well, maybe she shouldn't be. Well, she's got a study hour, she's got to study for a final tomorrow morning. you're telling me because she's a young woman, she shouldn't be able to walk safely across campus?
Well, the part of that is there's no one to blame but the Republicans.
Right, absolutely.
I was an elector for the 2024 election for Trump, and I'm also on the executive committee for the state. And I'm telling you, Republicans are the problem. But what we're going to do is fix that with constitutional conservatives.
Okay.
That's the answer to this, not someone that was. And I don't, we've actually got some Republicans that were Democrats, and they're constitutionalists. And OK2A, I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian. When it's time to vote, make sure that light is in the right position.
Absolutely.
That's what I care about.
Be real. Be who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And we've been fortunate to, because like I say, to advance stuff because we've pointed out who's keeping their oath and who's not. And here's the other part. Hey, if you don't keep your oath, it's nothing personal. We're going to get you fired. We're going to find someone that'll do the job.
Yeah, that's right. It is for me when I was in the Senate. I actually, whether we call them rhinos or whatever, that sounds like that's supposed to be some big insult, and you're. But what it is it's reality.
I am so glad we got you replaced finally by a conservative.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, Charlie Meadows made sure and called me and said, "Yeah, your
finally
your replacement got 100% conservative index score, Rob."
Yep.
And I go, "Oh yeah. Why didn't you call her?" Well, I just wanted to convey it to you, and well, I got one of those or two of those. He goes, "Well, no, Rob, I don't think you ever got 100%." So, thank you, Charlie. I'll convey the message. But going back in time, Don.
Sure.
So, what was it that before OK2A in 2009? And first and foremost, thank you for the work for OK2A. Absolutely, that's meant sincerely. But going back in time, where's that moment? What's the moment that you said, these idiots at the Capitol, or I've got to get involved? Were you talked into it? Did you do it on your own volition, or how'd that happen?
No, it was purely selfish. Okay. I wanted to be able to leave my gun in the car while I was at the Votech.
At the Votech.
It was just that simple. And then it steamrolled. And I had legislators that would tell me, John Bennett would tell me, he said, "Don, you keep pushing this. Man, you're making some people nervous." And like, no, I'm just kind of being me. No, you're making some people nervous and pushing on this. And the thing is, like I say, I'm not a lawyer, but for some reason, as a CLEAT certified firearm instructor, I know the Oklahoma Self-Defense Act like one book in the Bible.
Yeah,
I just work that so much, I know it. And so it's interesting. But even the Senate and the House, both attorneys have called me asking my opinion in Self-Defense Act matters, because in my brain, I can put how it works with one other part of the law or another, that they're not seeing what right in front of you.
Right.
Because, you change one thing right in front of you, you don't know what peripherally it affects. And sometimes it can mess you up real bad, and you didn't mean to do it, but there it is. So I've helped them prevent them from some embarrassing spots that they could have put themselves into legislatively.
So you worked at Votech before you got involved?
I was just taking the class.
Oh, you're taking the class.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the class?
Armed security guard.
Oh, armed security guard. Okay.
Yeah.
So you wanted to go back and be
by the way,
certified.
you have to have a gun for armed security guard in case they never educated you on that.
You can't use like one of those little rubber band things or
Actually, that might be outlawed in Oklahoma too, as far as I know.
So yeah, you can't be caught on the campus with a rubber band gun.
Yeah,
because it's serious. So you would be even if you're taking welding, whatever you're taking at Votech, let's say that you live out in the, down in Wayne Payne, they have an awesome Votech down there. And so you're out, you've been shooting prairie dogs or whatever, and you have a gun in your car. Like a lot of people, like I grew up in the country, we always had guns in the car. If you didn't have a gun in your car, then you had to go back and get it when you wanted to go out and shoot some squirrels or rabbits or whatever. So whether it's a shotgun or a pistol or whatever. So when you go on campus, if they catch you, then you're going to get. Was it a felony?
It was a felony.
Oh,
and here's what's so sad.
So you'd be in prison.
Me in high school, you may have too. We had the shotgun in the back. It was a status symbol. We go hunting before and after school.
And the only reason it was locked is because some idiot might take it.
Right. But it was a status symbol. But in 1973, unbeknownst to me and a lot of people, a governor signed into law to make that a felony.
Oh wow.
That was signed in by a governor who spent 2 years in a federal penitentiary for bribery and other things.
Well, but he wouldn't carry a gun on campus. So
so he's a good guy. But let me even go back farther for you. You're an attorney.
Yeah,
this is a stuff that drives me nuts. Oklahoma becomes a state in 1907.
Right.
Has a state constitution. Your right to keep and bear arms shall never be prohibited. Well, that sounds good.
Yeah.
But there's this semicolon that says, but the legislature shall regulate the carrying of weapons.
Okay.
Now, wait a minute. From my
Shall be infringed.
that's called an oxymoron.
That is an oxymoron.
We'll never prohibit you.
Now, you're not calling it legislators morons, though.
No, well, I will be. Since all these are deceased, but anyway. But here you won't be prohibited, but we're going to control it. And the very first law they put on the books in 1908, you shall not carry a pistol, rifle, or shotgun on or about your person, whether loaded or unloaded.
Really?
The first law. And then it's challenged in 1908 because an attorney is in a courtroom in Payne County, has a pistol in his pocket. They discover it's in there. He's convicted by the state Supreme Court for having a pistol in his pocket.
Oh, my gosh.
In 1926, Ellis County, the sheriff is wanting to serve a search warrant on what they thought was a bootlegger.
Okay.
They knock on his door. Well, he's got a Colt 45 in his pistol.
In his home.
In his home. And they said, well, come out, we're going to get search warrant. He walks out in the yard. He's got his pistol. They go in and out several times. They don't find the bootlegging stuff. They arrest him in his own front yard for the open carry of a pistol in his own front yard, and he's convicted of it. Oh, it gets better. It goes to the State Criminal Court of Appeals where it's upheld, and the Criminal Court of Appeals said the state can outlaw the ownership and possession of a pistol, and it's still on the books today right now.
Was that not pushed on up to the federal level? Because
No.
we had the 14th Amendment by then.
No, it wasn't.
Wow. Because that case, that of course, that's been overridden by the Chicago case where,
But not in Oklahoma.
Not in Oklahoma.
But see, that's just in Oklahoma. We still today, you barely have police power when it comes to the rights to keep and bear arms. Wow. Barely. And that's why statutorily, we've tried to participate in changing the state constitution.
Yeah, we need to change it.
But the Republicans kill it every time.
Really?
Every time.
Yeah.
And this session is no different. The leadership did not see necessary for that to happen.
So did that start this year in the House or the Senate?
We started that in 2011.
But this year you started in SJR.
It started in the SJR. It was an SJR.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Who was the author on that? Just for curiosity.
Bullard.
David Bullard.
Yep.
Okay. Senator Bullard.
Yes.
Okay. So can't carry a gun on VOTEC.
Have I got your blood pressure up?
Yeah, you do. I was not aware, and as an attorney, I find that intriguing.
Right.
Because we had a similar case I learned about in law school in Chicago, where the city of Chicago tried to ban handguns.
Right, McDonald case.
McDonald case. That's exactly right. They tried to ban handguns in the city.
Right.
And the Supreme Court says there's this word called infringe. Right. And you're infringing. And so that
was after the Heller case a year earlier.
That's correct. But that's a federal case, so it applies here as well. It just hasn't been challenged here.
It's been challenged, but not directly.
Because Oklahoma hasn't tried to do that.
But the legislature still refuses to recognize that right.
Yeah, it needs to be a constitutional amendment.
Correct. It needs to be changed.
I had not.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know I'd learned that much.
And I worked with Professor O'Shea from the Oklahoma City School of Law, who opened my eyes and educated me, because I was like, well, why can't we? What happened to shall not be infringed? Oh, well, Oklahoma doesn't recognize that, and here's why. And you're like, holy cow! Well, it's still on the books.
Yeah. So just a tidbit, this podcast is not about self-promotion, so that's not what I'm doing. But my first case ever as an attorney was this last Tuesday. I argued in front of the Supreme Court, Oklahoma Supreme Court, for no property tax.
Right.
So if you have another case where my second case to argue for this little word called can't be infringed, I'd be glad to handle that case.
We will be talking after this meeting.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love, that would be an interesting, because we have all the federal jurisprudence that would actually force Oklahoma to do that.
Right.
But we still need the constitutional amendment.
Right.
I'm not going to say this would take place.
We need to secure it to make it clear.
Absolutely. All right. So what year was it when you got hot about this, or you got concerned about this idea that you may go to prison for driving onto VOTEC?
It was 2010. And
okay.
so
OK2A already existed by
then. For a year.
Okay.
And actually, it was kind of all in this collusion. In fact, it's Charlie Meadows. At a meeting, I met a guy named Tim Gillespie, who was the founder of OK2A.
Right, yes.
And so I started, because I need a piggyback. I knew I needed a wedge, and he was brilliant enough to realize that there was a shortfall between what happens nationally with gun rights and what happened right here in our own state.
Okay.
And so he founded the Second Amendment Association. So I got in, worked with it. I became president in 2016. So I've got 10 years coming on. Can you believe that now?
Wow.
10 years as the president. And in that time, like I said, we've got constitutional carry, open carry. I think it's about 200 positive changes in state law is what we've done.
You know, what's impressed me about OK2A under your leadership is you don't just talk the talk. Yeah. When it comes to campaigns, elections, lobbying, all those things.
I've been accused of lobbying and being lopsided and mean, and there's nothing like that could be. It's so far untrue, because why would I ever point out that there's people that don't hold to their oath? I would never do that. So I wanted to dispel all those myths right now.
Fire, is somebody on fire there? What are you trying to say?
This is the swamp, and I probably actually should be drain the swamp.
Drain the swamp?
But firing the swamp is the individuals that we're going after here. But these are 7 senators who have refused to maintain their oath. Also, they're hiding behind, and this is what gets me. And OK2A, on the inside, we get to see this. They'll vote for a Senate leader who's F-rated, and then they'll say, "Oh, sorry, we couldn't. The leadership wouldn't hear any of the bills. It wouldn't hear any of the bills." We had 62 bills in the Senate that were killed by these 7 people voting for horrible Senate leadership. So there you go.
And that's fair, to be honest with you, Don. I just was in a conversation yesterday with some folks close into the Senate, let's say, because I only care about the Senate. I mean, I serve there. I have family that serves there. Senator Standridge, she's a rock star senator. She serves there. So you
better say that.
She's amazing. But it's important that people understand that being a legislator is an important role.
Right.
You can be the nicest person in the world.
Right.
You can be the best neighbor you would ever want. You can be the best coach in the world. You can be the best of everything. But we don't need that in the legislature.
Correct.
We need people with backbone, with integrity, that their focus is to go there and do what's best for the people of Oklahoma.
Independent thought, willing to protect the constitutional rights of the individuals in their district, and then also work with others that are willing to do the same, which is the fractured issue with the current state leadership, because this is the worst session in my years I have ever seen on time management and legislation put through.
Well, I know you probably see that, and I know one of the gentlemen on your who I got along with fine. He is a nice fella.
Yeah.
Bill Coleman.
Yeah.
Was out the west side of the state. He made a speech the other day, and I served with him for a number of years. I never saw him get angry. I saw him get the opposite of that. We won't go into that, but Chivas Regal can tell you about that. But anyway, I've seen him that way, and I've seen him very nice. That video, somebody sent me, you made a clip of it on OK2A. I'd encourage people to go to OK2A on their Facebook discussion.
His problem with the Freedom Caucus.
Yeah, so somebody just sent me a short clip, and I thought it was AI when I saw it, because I never saw him so angry. So I thought, somebody's AI'd this, it's for the campaign, whatever. And then I got a text, I think, from you with this OK2A where you put the whole thing in context. And I go, man, this guy flipped his lid.
Right.
I mean, he got angry that might need some counseling, angry, and trashed the Freedom Caucus, told him that it was about power and control over the Senate. That's not what a pro tem is about. Ask Pro Tem Bingman or Pro Tem Schultz or Pro Tem Coffey. They weren't about controlling everybody. They were about trying to protect the caucus. They would use that excuse sometimes, but I served with them. And I'll just tell you, they tried to let the kids play. Right. You know, they would take, if they didn't like Senator Spencer, that didn't mean that they killed everything you did. These guys are about personality politics.
Right.
Treat started this trend.
I would respectfully, mildly disagree with you, because the fact I've still never seen conservative constitutional leadership take place in the Senate. It's still been a flat tire.
Okay, so that's different than what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm not saying it's constitutional conservative from top down.
I agree.
Down.
You're right, because we would still get bills through, and we would still get things signed.
Because it wasn't a top-down iron fist.
Right.
Bill Coleman should have said Heil Hitler. I mean, that's the kind of speech it sounded like.
Right.
We're going to follow the power. And I'm like, that's not what it's about.
Exactly. And that's what I'm about, is not, and like I say, I don't care who the pro tem is.
Yeah.
Just hear our legislation. Just get this through. But you don't kill 62. The reason there's 62 bills is because you've not been hearing it, and they just keep stacking up things we keep finding that need to be fixed.
Yeah.
And it's way too complicated. There's way too many gun zones. We did remove one gun zone this year, a no gun zone.
What was the gun?
The no gun zone. You'll love this. In fact, you may have actually worked on it with me before. State lodges, which are owned by the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
We're going to go Oklahoma stupid gun laws. You ready?
Yeah.
You can carry any firearm you want all the way around that lodge building where you go in.
It's like a hotel or
right,
a lodge,
exactly.
right.
Once you enter the building, it's illegal. But state law says that you can have a firearm in your home for self-defense, and that's a rental home for that night. So you have this bar, this wall. It's legal to walk up to the building. It's legal to be in the room. So I guess unless you crawl in through a window, you'd have been good to go.
Yeah, right. Well,
So this is, we got this, Senator Hines, which was good to help us get this done this year, and Representative Stegall. But it's just stupid. And here, people have been doing this forever anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
And out in western Oklahoma,
I'm guilty.
The
Allegedly.
deer hunters and pheasant hunters.
Yeah.
You don't want to leave your guns out in the cars and the trucks now because that's irresponsible. So they want to take them to the room. So it's
you have handguns too. So
handguns, right.
Those go in your overnight bag or whatever. They don't or on your person.
On my person,
but
right.
Usually I'll throw something.
But again,
in the bag.
this is the OK2A taking absolute stupid out of a gun law.
That's correct. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
So at one time, was it even illegal in the parking lot? Did you have to do a law?
Since concealed carry in 1995, it's been legal
in the parking lot.
Right.
One of the things that you worked on and did while I was there was, and maybe this is the VOTEC related thing, it probably is. You pull up and you leave your gun in your car or whatever. You go into the school.
Well, public school is different from a VOTEC.
But was this public school something that was tackled not long ago?
And then this year, the state Senate killed it because we had it's so you have to have a handgun license to be able to go onto the school property, leave the firearm in the vehicle unattended.
Okay.
This made it constitutional carry. People are already, same thing. People are already doing it anyway. Just lock your car up, keep it out of sight.
Right,
everything's fine.
Right.
And so, but no.
There's an attractive
Senator Daniels and Senator Paxton, Pro Tem Paxton, did not find that of value, even with the NRA providing a letter asking them to hear it 2 years in a row. So
who's the author on that one?
That was Senator Sacchieri and Representative Cross Whitehater.
Okay. Well,
strong women doing the job.
Right.
Guys couldn't get.
Okay, so OK2A. I'm a founding member of the Freedom Caucus. I see a lot of synergy there. What is your thoughts about this up and coming conservative group? I've mentioned this before, one of many caucuses, by the way, in the Senate.
I hope we get to the point where you don't need the title Freedom Caucus.
Yeah.
That's just what they are.
That's just what they are.
It's just
That's what
they
Oklahoma
are.
should be.
Right.
I mean, if you're in Illinois, there's a Freedom Caucus. But if you're in Oklahoma, it is the Freedom Caucus.
And if you're
called
not,
Republican Freedom Caucus.
Right. And if you're not, actually, I don't have a problem if a Democrat actually did their job and want to be in the Freedom Caucus. That's fine.
Well, when I came in, I served with Senator Randy Bass, who I think the world of, great professional baseball player, great guy. Tricked me a couple times. He's kind of savvy on it. In fact, I blame one of my years I didn't get 100% specifically on Randy Bass. He knows what I'm talking about. But anyway, he's very conservative, pro-life, pro-gun. I mean, I don't know. I never saw him run other than seatbelt laws, which is the one he caught me looking the other way on. But you had a lot of conservative Democrats, and we on the size of. I think back then, before I got there, it was really about the size of government. The role of government, which Freedom Caucus would differ with him on.
In 2010, Joe Dorman, Prosper, I had 7 or 8 Democrats I could count on gun bills, and 1 or 2 in the Senate, and each year it just drops off, and now it's right with the ideology that we got to make sure we have boys and girls' bathrooms and sports and all the pro-trans stuff, which is completely inconsistent with reality.
It's insanity. So it's funny you mentioned that because you mentioned Senator Julie Daniels, who's the floor leader. Before she became that, Senator Jett, myself, and a number of others were working on the legal approaches to this transgender mutilization. I mean, it's medieval, it's torture, whatever you want to call it.
Can't comprehend.
It's insane,
right?
And so I had come up with this cause of action logic that I think made perfect sense. Julie Daniels was chair of the committee, so instead of helping the members, this is how their leadership has gone. And I'm not Senator Jett. I'd been fine with anybody running it, but she took them all, put it in her own bill. This is Hurt Gedner Drummond, by the way, in his, because he dismissed it to me. But I mean, that bill lacks the teeth it should have had.
Right.
In other words, if you're 30 years old and your parents enabled to you, or some crazy doctor did this to you when you're 15 or even 18 or 20, I mean, they have an obligation not to harm you. You know, when you go into to surgery and they chop off the wrong arm, they're liable, because that's a good arm. They start removing body parts that are working. At some point in time, you actually can say, oops.
I think it actually starts even before that. Why would they allow someone to be convinced that needs to happen?
That's correct. That's all. That's liability there too.
Right.
That's all. Even if, I would say, even as an adult,
it's not liability. It's criminal.
It is criminal. I agree.
It's just criminal.
It is criminal. And you know what? One of the strangest meetings I've ever had, Tom Gann chaired it in the House. I was the only senator there. We had the University of Oklahoma medical people there that were chopping off body parts, and they just acted like it was nothing.
Yeah,
it was nothing. And then we took away their money, and they stopped doing it. So what do they care about? Money.
I bet they're still doing it.
They may be.
They'll find a way.
Senator
to find
Sanders,
it.
my wife, believes they're still doing it. Yeah, absolutely.
The higher education is the fourth branch of government. Higher education did everything it could to try to kill Senate Bill 372 on the hotel lodge thing I just told you about.
Yeah?
They tried to kill it because Oklahoma State University has a hotel on their property.
Right.
Well, there's a separate section of law just for college campuses. So it didn't, but they did everything they could to try to stop that.
Yeah.
And thank you, Speaker Hilbert, for seeing through what I showed him, and we went through and got the thing done and passed.
So you said that this year was, you're talking about the entire session, or literally just 2026 is one of the worst years?
The entire session.
The entire 2 years.
Yeah.
So name me some highlights of I don't say stupidity, but just lack of leadership. Or what are some high points for you looking back?
All these people experience this exact same thing, that you'll go into talk to a senator about something, and the famous words is, "I'll think about it."
Right.
Well, just tell me no.
Right.
And get out of your office.
Right.
But the desire to give a runaround, and they brag about how they've given someone a runaround and that they're killing stuff, and because I'm informed that they're bragging about killing legislation, Second Amendment, OK2A, whatever, you're going to have a reward in full.
Yeah.
And that's what elections are for. Which, by the way, in case I didn't mention.
Well, now
did I forget this?
No. So I'm only concerned with the sentence. I want to walk through those. We got some time here, Don. But
okay,
it's a very well done graphic done there. But you usually, when you think about swamp, by the way, to try to draw a federal analogy, usually we're talking about bureaucrats. We're talking about embedded people in the system,
which goes back to higher education.
But in Oklahoma. And I agree with you. We have a problem because we have that same kind of entrenched power thinking within our legislature. I think it's reminiscent of the old Democrat Party when they had that entrenched power. Do you agree with that? Yeah.
May I?
Yeah, go ahead.
House Bill 3094 was presented this year. This bill would allow a person that has a valid handgun license to carry a concealed handgun while in the Oklahoma State Capitol. Okay. Texas does it without a license. Kansas does it without a license. Missouri does in other states. But for some reason, the state legislature of Oklahoma says we cannot trust Oklahoma residents to do this. Even though Oklahoma residents would be trusted in other states to do it, they can't do it here. So what stopped this? The question came up, well, the Capitol security are concerned. And I'm like, so? What are they concerned about? A person will be presenting a license that says they're not a felon, just like Texas or whoever, and they just pass on through and go through. What's the problem? This remains concealed. What's the problem?
Right.
Individuals like myself, There's a long ways from the edge of that building all the way to your car where people have been waiting for me.
Right.
Waiting for me.
Oh yeah, I would.
So you know, but you said the bureaucracies. Why do we take the word from, or the concern of Highway Patrol? You're telling me that the Highway Patrol is not capable of handling the same situation that Texas and Kansas can do.
Yeah.
You're telling me our guy, and I know these guys up there, they're competent.
Oh, no doubt.
It's the leadership issue again.
I think so.
So you're right. Those bureaucracies that come in, they undermine our constitutional rights, and they do it without basically representation. We don't have representation to handle it.
So term limits, which I'm 1,000% for. I think you get rid of you throw the
term limits have been a godsend.
It is. It absolutely is. And so you get rid of a lot of trash.
Right.
Get rid of amazing. But anyway, just good. But no.
But we also get some amazing ones that followed you too.
Right.
So
but 12 years is more than enough. Trust me. And so, but what you do lose, and I talked about this previously, is it takes you a few years to understand how bad it is.
Right.
So I think OK2A and I think Freedom Caucus can really help fill that gap. You know, hopefully get some new blood in this year.
One of the best things,
they need to be educated more quickly on how bad and how much control the bureaucracy has.
What has helped a bunch, and I won't say we were the first ones to do this because Charlie at OPEC was doing it, but a grading system. And so we have a grading system. Other grassroots groups like Liza Greavy's group of Mohawks have a grading system.
Let's tell people what that is. Make Oklahoma healthy.
Make
again,
Oklahoma healthy again.
Right.
I always forget the new term for it.
Right.
But and she's got a real good group. And so with these groups, and now we've got the GOP saying, okay, you got to be GOP certified, which is fantastic because here is the platform.
Oh, it's simple.
You better agree with 80% of it or we're not supporting you.
Yeah,
well, at OK2A, you need to be 100% on board with us or we're not supporting.
To get endorsed.
To get endorsed.
Yeah,
you got to have an A. We're not going to mess with you.
You know, I have never really, I mean, to be honest with you, going back and looking at my 12 years, had tons of controversial bills. It's, you know, there are some pro-life bills that, you know, get really down and you have a lot of, but of course I voted yes on every one of them. To be honest with you, Don, including constitutional carry, open carry, I do not remember one single OK2A bill that ever gave me any pause at all. I mean, so I don't understand how.
Which goes back to when I said.
How do they have problems getting there? Is what my question.
We're getting like Senator Weaver did a great job. He got 8 or 10 bills out of committee for us, and they just die on the floor. Die right there. Okay. And here's the other part. Like, also going back to the House Bill 3094 that I was talking about, capital carry.
Right.
We had 36 co-authors on that bill.
Okay.
And the Republicans voted it down.
So it actually went up for a vote and got voted down.
Was voted down. 3 Republicans voted against it, and it was like
in committee. It went down.
In committee.
Oh, wow.
In committee.
That's
correct.
Unusual. Okay. Usually, when they think it's when it's that kind of a OK2A or Second Amendment bill, you said NRA.
Well, part of it is you know there's inside factions that get mad at each other. They wanted to have a legislator learn a lesson on what it's like to and be embarrassed at have a bill voted down. And State Representative Molly Jenkins, she's way tougher than that.
Yeah,
she will be back. This bill will be passed because the same people that told me you'll never get constitutional carry, it'll never happen. Same people say you'll never get capital carry. Okay,
got vetoed when I was there for the first time.
And which actually
Nathan Dahm, I think.
And that's how God works. I knew that was going to be a political springboard, and it was. It was the issue. Stitt was the first bill he signed. Thank you, Governor. Thank you.
First bill he signed. That's right.
First bill he signed, and it was a huge deal.
Yeah.
And
it was a big issue in the campaign.
But again, the year before, Treat did everything he could to kill Nathan Dahm's constitutional carry, and then that year it was a springboard that look at us, politically convenient.
Yeah, Treat this is one of the, I got along fine with Treat in the beginning. We went to college together, played ball together. I was so disappointed, and you mentioned Senator Dahm, dear friend of mine. And I've said this on numerous podcasts. That's the part I can't seem to get over. How can somebody literally
was
enjoy
his personalities.
enjoy
Right.
punishing.
Right.
When you got that little thimble full of power,
Right.
you're going to use it to punish one of the best gentlemen that served in the Senate. I'll never quite understand that.
I agree. And
I mean, just let him do some stuff.
And
you know?
even, he makes you follow the rules, then we got to punish him even more.
That's correct. Yeah. That's right.
So, let's fix that, folks. We can fix this with good leadership. And here's the other part.
That's what people don't get out there.
You
in
know
the
this
campaigns.
too. The middle, the moderates in the middle, they're going to follow leadership.
Yes.
So if you've got good leadership, let's see what happens. We haven't seen it happen.
Oh yeah, they'll follow.
And we know what they do with bad leadership. So
That's
let's
correct.
go see what they'll do with good leadership. And I think we get a conservative constitutionalist for the pro tem, which is the most important election that will take place. And even though
for
the
people that vote in November,
Right.
in my opinion, in the Senate,
Wait a minute.
this will be the most important vote they ever cast.
people that vote in June.
Oh, yeah.
In
First
June,
in June.
because this is where you get rid of these people in June, right there. Did I mention this?
June 16th.
I couldn't remember if I mentioned
just
that
to
or
be
not.
specific. Yeah.
So-
2 weeks from this last Tuesday.
Right. So, and probably not soon enough, but
Yeah. So before we get to those, I do want to go through because we got some open seats too.
Yes.
I'd like to talk to you about
Right.
because OK2A. One thing I've admired about you and your group is that, like I said, you don't just talk the talk.
Right.
You actually say, because for most, I'm going to call you a lobbyist for just a second.
well, that's what I am.
That's what you are. It's not a negative. I disagree with this whole concept of being so negative because there's good and there's bad. I would say mostly bad, but I mean, there's good and bad. Because everybody that lobbies at the Capitol, even if you're not registered, technically, I think of them as a lobbyist. Maybe they're a grassroots activist, but they're lobbying the
Right,
Capitol.
right.
But most lobbyists, in fact, I would say 99% of lobbyists, they go up there and they say, and maybe they're a part of a big group. Maybe they're part of some group of state, not the state chamber, but some group of optometrists or whatever they are, right? They're going to look at something like you're looking at. They're going to say, okay, I can't work with these 20 people or these 48 people I work with. I just can't work with. I can't get anything done, anything. But you know what? I'm not going to go out on that limb. I'm not going to go say, if I could just get this one seat changed, because this guy's burned my salad. They're not going to do it. They're not going. If he's in there, they're never going to go help the other guy,
Right.
because they're afraid that if they walk out on that limb breaks, and they lose their,
And that's what makes us different.
Right, completely different,
Yeah.
and it's a good thing. I actually think more people should get active, especially people that agree with me. But anyway, so but that's something. So tell that. I mean, when did that change? Because I don't think in the beginning I saw you getting so involved in races.
It changed, and one of your beloved fellow former senators, Senator Irving Yin.
Okay, Irvin.
We watched him.
who, by the way, was a friend of mine. Just so you know.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
yeah.
we watched him be so arrogant.
Right.
And then that's when the social media stuff was started working together. So the nurses were mad at him. The Maha group was mad at him. OK2A's mad because he wouldn't vote for Second Amendment bills. And so those three come together, and next thing you know, boom, he's voted out. And the irony is that he was actually finally replaced by a Democrat, which was fine with us, because if you're not all the way with us, we'd rather you be a Democrat because you're not messing up the committee counts like we see. So if you've got 7 people committee, if you've got 2 Democrats and 5 Republicans, but if 3 of those Republicans are soft, you can't move any legislation. So we just soon have the good ones in there. But that was the first one. Then COVID was hitting, and a guy by the name of Senator Shaw,
Wayne Shaw,
would not
also
hear
a good friend of mine.
Killed every every bill we had. And I just said, okay, look, just hear this one bill, just one bill. And he said, I'll think about it, which to me is just go ahead and flip me off, because that's basically what you're doing. So he didn't. So 9 days later, we were literally at a meeting across from the church that he was a preacher at, having a meeting with 300 people there to get rid of and vote Shaw out. And he took a whooping. I think he got beat by 17 or 18 points.
Yeah, so Wayne Shaw, who's a senator up by Grove.
Right.
Really a good man.
Yeah.
Really good man. So I want to be clear, just because you're not a good senator, or you're not a Republican.
It's not about personality.
It's not about personality.
It's a job.
It's a job.
Exactly.
And it's a tough one. And Wayne probably was a position he should have never been put in, because that is not an area where he had a lot of convictions about an
Right.
issue that's very important to many Oklahomans.
Right.
So in retrospect, I wish they'd have put him over something else, but
Right.
it is what it is. And so, he was replaced by Cowboy Blake Stevens.
Right.
Another really nice fella.
Nice fella. And here we
Really
go again.
nice fella.
And
Nice fella.
Senator Stevens served a purpose, but as he was in there, I'm watching him and I'm having conversations with him, and he's gravitating towards the swamp. And he told me, quote unquote, Senator McCourtney's never hurt me. And I said, you have 2 of our gun bills you can't get heard. How can this not be hurting you?
No.
And so that's when I knew he was going to go all in with the swamp. And so there was this brilliant lady by the name of Dr. McIntosh.
Julie McIntosh.
And, I like, okay, too, I can't work with the candidate or campaign. We're an unlimited PAC. But we stand back and we've got people in our area and we learn about her. And so we end up supporting her. She won that race. And
Pretty handily. if I remember
right,
right,
pretty handily. And then also at the same time, McCourtney goes out. And then also Jessica Garvin, who introduced the worst gun bill in the nation. She was making it a felony for kids to point toy guns at each
right.
other.
I forgot about that.
And I tried to keep her from embarrassing herself. I said, this is what this bill does. Oh, no, my DA says it does this. I said, no, here it is. And so she just ramrodded it forward and said, okay, so here's your F rating.
The thing about McCourtney, somebody sent me, I mentioned this to Senator Jett the other day, but somebody sent me a Facebook post or something that he posted. I never had a problem with Greg McCourtney until he got power. So he was very nice and congenial. We worked on things together. He was very respectful. And then he got power and something went to his head. He literally, and again, I'm going to say this, not in physical presence, but he became the biggest jerk maybe I've ever met. He was such a jerk and an asshole. I don't understand what goes to people's heads to make him such a jerk. That's the same thing with Lonnie. I don't know if it's Lonnie himself or whether he just lets his thugs be jerks, but why can't they just be respectful of people earned the right to be there?
Senator Paxton has been his own tyrant too, because it was Senator Paxton that called for me. He used taxpayer dollars and equipment to call for me, Don Spencer, to be removed from the Oklahoma Second Amendment Association.
This session?
Yeah. No. 4 years.
When he was public safety chair.
Correct.
Yeah, I thought
correct.
That's right. I do remember.
So he already had it in his.
Did they remove you? I can't remember. I think they said, "Yeah, go Don."
They couldn't get a vote of confidence out fast enough for me.
Wow,
so
that's amazing.
But that's what we're dealing with. And so, in all fairness, too, when Senator Paxton wins by one vote,
that's not personality from him either. That's just he wants rid of you.
But when that's fine. But when Senator Paxton's vote for pro tem, he wins by one vote.
Correct. Yeah.
I sent him a text. Congratulations.
Right.
Hope we can look forward. Because I'm thinking in Don's head, okay, he realizes this was close.
Right.
This could go away.
He's going to be a gentleman, a statesman, right?
We're not going to get everything we want, but we're going to get something moved here.
Sure. That's what I would
And
think.
it was just basically
the
opposite.
Right.
And so
I talked to him after he won, and I was like, and I was very gracious. I did, he actually shared with me that he thought it was bad that Treat punished people. He actually told me that on the phone call. Right. I said, well, I agree with you, sir. You're not going to do that. No, I'm not going to do that. He did that for 2 years straight. You mentioned Kendall Sacchieri earlier. Phenomenal. She's part of the Fab Five, and we'll get to that in a minute. But she this year, if I remember correctly, I don't think they allowed her. That's the word we want to use.
Right.
They did not allow her to have one bill heard on the floor, if I remember.
Correct.
Yeah, they teased her with one bill at the end, if I understand correctly.
Right.
But then jerked the rug out from under. That is not leadership.
This is why Senator Paxton has an F rating with the Oklahoma Second Amendment Association, and Julie Daniels has a D-. There was one or two bills she let through. And here's the second part: the bills she let through. She let through was an elitist bill only for judges and DAs to be able to carry their guns in places. Well, I'm willing to let that slide if the people are getting something substantial, in a no-gun zone also. But that's unfortunate. But no, they just took care of their hierarchy attorney buddies, judge buddies, and
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hey, you should try being a lobbyist.
That's right. So I want to go out to because there's some things that happened this year that just baffled to mine, but I want to get to those. But
Okay.
so we have some open seats. Again, I only care about the Senate because the Senate wags the dog.
Okay.
That's all we should
Right.
care about. So we have open seats. We have Shane Jett's seat. It's such, I'm for term limits. but I hate
Wood
seeing
is
long.
endorsed by the Oklahoma Second Amendment Association.
Senator or former Representative Justin Wood, right?
Right.
Great gentleman.
Yep.
Was really young when I served with him before, but I visited with him recently. Man, he has grown up so much in his maturity and his stature. I really like the guy. He's just such I can't imagine him
And he's
not
got
winning
some
that.
tough shoes to fill, and that's a lot of pressure on
He
him.
has a lot of tough shoes. Shane is one of the great gentlemen, statesmen that I've served with. You know, you put baby in the corner, you see what happens. I
Right.
mean, it's such a stupid move by leadership. But anyway, so Justin Wood is who you're endorsing there.
Right. He's been
So then we
endorsed.
go down to Brent Howard, which, he still had 4 years that he could serve, but he decided to leave. And he voted, I'm sure, for current leadership, positive that
Yes.
he did. So you had 3 people. One of them died.
Well, I didn't have him, but yes, that is what happened, and the name is still on the ballot.
Barry Christian, right?
Right.
So I assume he won't get many votes, but anyway, who knows? But so Buchanan and I can't remember
Rick Vernon.
Vernon. I've heard good things about both of them. I visited with a former pro tem of mine, Mike Schultz. He likes one of them. So has OK2A? Are they going to stay out of that? Have you made a decision in that?
We'll make it even if a decision up till the day before if we have to.
Okay.
But we're working on it. But there is something that took place in that race I would like to go over, which is I want a warning to anyone. We make it clear that when you fill out an OK2A candidate survey, it is right there on the survey that you have signed. It says that you will not you use the image of OK2A falsely. So you cannot say OK2A endorse me when we haven't.
Okay.
So Mr. Buchanan sent out mailers stating that OK2 had endorsed him, and I'm making it clear we had not done any such thing.
Okay.
He could have been put on there. OK2A gave me an A candidate survey, perfectly fine. We see those go out all the time. But I've got to call that to attention because I don't want, I was accused, well, you're already pulling for Vernon if you're letting him do that. No, we're not letting anyone get away with it. Our logo means something. And if it didn't,
does.
why am I getting hammered for endorsements like you wouldn't believe?
Oh, it's where I would argue this. Sorry to interrupt you,
No,
John,
no.
but I follow elections closely, especially in the Senate, and I will just tell those candidates out there, just bluntly, that at the end of the day, in that last weekend, if OK2A, the local chapters, and the OK2A, there's a lot involved. It's not just Don Spencer.
Right.
There's
Oh,
all
yeah.
your local
Right.
chapters. If you have 5 counties, and you probably got 3 or 4, maybe even 5 chapters, I think it's worth anywhere from 3 to maybe 6, 7, 8 points. And in the world of politics, that's like a walloping.
And in the House races, it's even higher since it's half the distance.
Really. So
Right.
but in the Senate, it literally, and we have some close races, it will make the difference.
Yes.
It will make the difference.
It's
Guaranteed.
it's enough to, like I say, and it's I don't want to be arrogant. It's a combination of all of it. The candidate's got to be good.
That's correct.
And the
for
candidate's
sure.
got to be people that
It's
will
when
work
the
around
race
it
is
and be
close.
financed,
Yeah.
figure out a way to finance to do all this stuff. And then we're the little maybe icing on the cake is all I'll say.
I would
You
say
know.
this, like if you get up to, in this case, June 12th, and you've been doing those things, you're a
Right.
decent candidate, you've been working, and you're 4 points off. The incumbent, let's say, is 4 points ahead of you, and OK2 comes out with endorsement, you win. I think you win.
It definitely helps.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing.
Don't stop working.
But hang on. But here's the other thing that's so cool. And these governors candidates have found out real fast. We've got people educated that go to a meeting or something. Have you filled out an OK2A candidate survey? What did you get on it? Oh, if you didn't fill it out, what are you hiding?
So on that survey,
it's its own culture.
so on that survey, are you asking Senate candidates, will they vote for new leadership? Is that a question? on
That's going to be added in our next survey update.
Okay.
We didn't feel it was fair to add it in the middle of this election season.
Gotcha.
So it will be added. It's very clear. If it's not clear by now, because we have people asking.
I think their paper makes it pretty clear.
Exactly.
Right.
But that pro tem leadership vote is the most important. And don't tell us it's a private vote. You better tell us who you're voting for.
Right.
And if you can't tell us a name, tell us you're going to vote for the most conservative person that's there.
So I don't get into names. You know, one of my best friends in the Senate ever, David Bullard, likely is running, I assume, but who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. It's a rumor.
Who knows? It's a rumor. But yeah, so I don't. When I talk to candidates, I'm like, they don't know who David is. They don't
Right.
know. But
No,
they
I
know
agree.
who the cabal is.
Right.
And so my question is, are you going to vote for the people that are acting like Hitler is running the Senate? And so, oddly enough, or I think many thanks to you and other grassroots groups, most of them say, well, yeah, I wouldn't vote for those bozos.
Right.
Right.
And like I said, they don't understand the construction of the Senate, how we can have all these Republicans, but we can't get anything
That's
passed.
correct. That's correct.
That's I
or
look
that
at
my
a glazy
senator
eyes.
or that my senator, who's a rock star and I voted for her or him, doesn't get any bills heard.
Correct.
I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
And let me be clear. Kendall Sacchieri is awesome. Just one or two, three more like that in there,
Right.
and folks, we will flip Oklahoma the way it actually looks. It's actually red and not just this very thin cover of paint.
Well, I had this discussion with Senator Jett, and so I got to get it out of the way. You know, the people I'm talking, I call them the Fab Five, but this is not their name, and so I don't want to offend any other freshmen or anything, but I call them that, and I'm free to call people whoever I want.
Oh.
So the Fab Five.
Actually, the Swamp Seven, but that's quite all right.
You call them the Swamp Seven. But anyway, I call these folks Fab Five. You mentioned Kendall Sacchieri.
Right.
She's one of them. And of course you would guess that Lisa Standridge is one of them.
She's awesome.
And so do you know who the other three would be? In that
McIntosh.
McIntosh is three.
Devers.
No,
you're
this
talking
would be
about
in the
women.
freshman. These would be in the freshman class. That's why I call them Fab Five. No, Devers isn't there because he's not really. He came in before.
Well, he's not as cute as the other ones we've already mentioned either.
Yeah, that's true. So you got three there. You got Julie. If you were guessing,
I just went blank. I don't know who you got.
Randy Growler's four.
Oh, okay. Sir, I was thinking women at that
No,
point. I thought
I'm
I
sorry.
messed
They're
it
not
up.
all women. In
Okay.
fact, the other ones-
Grellner and go ahead and give me
Brian Guthrie.
Guthrie. Yeah,
And these five, I've talked
Guthrie's awesome.
they're all five awesome.
Yeah.
These amazing Fab Five, and I give them 100% credit. And I talked to Shane Jett; he agrees
Right.
with me for the tax cut that happened last year. And here's why: because all five of those senators met with the governor and OCPA and others every
Right.
week, all session long. They crafted this scheme of sustaining vetoes for the governor, so that they forced Senate leadership to run a tax cut bill, or they weren't going to get any of their bogus
Right.
crap done.
Right.
So it was amazing. And so I think, and I had a couple of freshman candidates say, well, who would I vote? Let's say that, because they don't know Bullard from Adam. They say,
Right.
well, let's say he's not running. Who would I vote for? I said, and one of them mentioned Lisa, one of them mentioned Kendall, one of them mentioned Brian, I think. But anyway, I'd say put all five of those names in a hat, reach over and grab it, and
Well,
you'd be.
Here's the other cool
any
part.
five would be awesome.
Since we're an unlimited PAC, so I can't work with a candidate or campaign that is going through the Ethics Commission.
Right.
This vote's not through the Ethics Commission. Come and ask me, folks. I'll tell you who it is, so we can make sure we get all of our rights back that should have never been taken away.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
sure. So you have that open seat down there. I've heard good things about Buchanan and Vernon, so I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see. And then you have Shane Jett, we talked about. You have Darcy Yeck's seat.
Brady Butler. We've already endorsed Brady.
Oh, you have endorsed Brady,
Yes.
and he was. I think he's pretty close to Senator Devers, who's Senator Devers is awesome.
Huh, okay.
Dusty Devers. I think they're friends. I understand correctly. But so Dusty is, I think, very supportive. And so I think Brady Butler, from everything I've heard.
Well,
would
we
be
had endorsed
phenomenal.
Brady 4 years ago
Okay.
against Yeck, and
Yeah.
he only like 250 votes or something.
I heard,
like that.
yeah, it went into a runoff.
It's pretty.
didn't it?
No, it was. Well, it was in a runoff.
Yeah, it went into a runoff. Cause
It was pretty close.
Darcy had two.
Right.
And Darcy's a super nice guy. I really like Darcy, but he's just not. And he voted for current leadership for what?
Right.
I don't understand that because I don't.
He's
think
voted
he's
against a lot of Second
I
Amendment
get that
legislation.
part. I absolutely. But when I, because I consider Darcy a friend, it bugs me because I don't think Senator Yeck, with all due respect, I don't think if he were pro tem, I don't think he would treat people like Treat and Lonnie have. And so it bugs me when they vote, because when Brent Howard voted for Treat over me, I was like, Treat's been a total jerk to you.
Well, I would respectfully disagree on the
Okay.
basis that more than one person stated that Yeck said that if it's an OK2A bill, it's dead.
Oh, really? Well, I wasn't aware
So,
of that. Okay.
but that's consistent with the leadership. Senate
It's like a
pro-tem-
directive.
Right.
It's like a military directive
and they
coming down.
proved it.
Yeah.
They proved it this year. So anyone in that Freedom Caucus could not get a bill heard.
And so we have the Weaver seat. He's leaving early. Any
Right.
thoughts? I think it's a crowded field. Any thoughts?
That's a
about that?
crowded field.
Yeah.
There's three people we would not have heartburn at all
Okay.
in there. I'm not going to say their names yet. They've all got ACE surveys.
But you're not endorsing anybody.
No, we've
in
not
that.
endorsed in
This
that
is like
one.
5 candidates, I think, or
and here's the
6.
same. And here's the problem we run into. We'll have in a group, especially OK2A. Oh, we like this candidate. We like this candidate, and they're the
Yeah.
same. So you don't want to create too much infighting there.
I think that's wise.
Just go ahead and
Yeah.
go ahead, guys, and
But
work
you had
this
to
one
fill out surveys. Right?
Oh yeah, they've
so
all
if you
filled
have one
surveys.
that doesn't have an A, do you go against them, or do you just kind of let the people?
It's
decide?
rarely that we take the time to go against someone in a primary that is a candidate.
Right.
An incumbent, whole different story.
So in a field like that of 5 or 6, they all probably filled out the survey. I'd assume they probably all got A's.
No,
Oh, really? Okay.
there was one that in that group that was a B.
Well, B. Okay.
So,
it's not horrible.
but something's missing, and it's well, anyway, it's 55 questions. You can go to ok2a.org. You can see our survey. Just click on it and see what the survey.
And we'll put a
is.
link
Yeah.
in, and to echo Senator Shane Jett, Holly's here. What he kept saying, Holly? Like, subscribe,
Like-
and ring the bell, or whatever.
Like,
they say.
subscribe. That's
Right.
on a
And look up
YouTube.
OK2A.
Yeah.
We'll put the link on there, and they can find out the Swamp 7.
Right.
So that's all the open seats, I think.
Right.
So now we have the 7 seats. So we
Yeah.
mentioned Bill Coleman.
Did I mention these?
You mentioned those,
Yeah.
but people, you flash that up there. People a lot of times don't know.
Can that be seen on the camera there? Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
it can be seen. I guarantee it. I will have to zoom in on that.
Well,
one.
let me do this. State Senator Bill Coleman voted for illegal aliens to get an Oklahoma driver's license. He
Okay.
also protected illegal aliens getting welfare benefits. Senator Gullahar did not. He voted to protect illegal aliens getting benefits. All of these people voted for Senate swamp leadership. Grant Green voted to protect the illegal aliens' benefits.
So where are these districts at? I think Bill's
This
up in
is 28.
Bill's up in Ponca City.
Ponca
right?
City,
Todd's up
Creek
in
County.
Okay, all right.
20 is Lincoln County, a little bit of Logan County, and I think Pottawatomie County.
Okay.
Chuck Hall is, I think,
Guthrie,
Payne County,
right.
Guthrie,
Yeah.
through there.
Now, did he vote for illegal driver's license?
He voted for illegal
Okay.
driver's licenses
Okay.
and also protected the
Why are
benefits.
people voting for illegal? I hate to get. I don't want to stop. You can hold that up.
Okay.
I want to finish them out.
Here's their
why are
excuse.
people voting for illegal? I mean, I just don't get it.
Here was
because
their-
I debated against that on the floor for like 30 minutes.
Right. Here's their excuse. Well, the sheriffs told us they wanted it.
Okay.
Well, okay, this could very well have been the same sheriffs that didn't want open carry or constitutional carry too. So are we going to look at what are we protecting here? An illegal, it's illegal. Nothing else matters. It doesn't matter if they're an illegal priest in this country. It doesn't matter. The word illegal, everything else goes away.
Well, Senator Brooks was the last one that got it to the Senate floor, and they did that to bribe him to vote for school choice or whatever. I forget
Right.
what it was. So it comes to the floor. He crafted that bill specifically for illegal aliens to vote.
Right.
Specifically
Right.
because how that works is the bill itself says we clean the voter rolls, but then we don't do it for 6 months. And if you get in there in that window,
Yeah.
they don't clean it.
Right.
They don't clean it, so they can vote.
Right.
And if you don't think they can vote with a driver's
And that's
license,
only one way. There's other ways that we don't know
Yeah.
about.
That's correct. And
There's other
trust me,
ways.
he lied like as many times as he could on the
but,
floor. So.
But this is just it. I actually appreciate him
Yeah.
because he pointed out the swamp, these problems, these legislators that have
Yeah.
done this, and Stevens voted for it, McCourtney voted for it, Garvin voted for it. These that voted for this, they keep getting kicked out.
So here's what I've noticed on politics. Been around it now about 14, 15 years. Political memory is extremely short. I mean, sometimes
To some people.
days, minutes. Yeah,
some people.
except for Don Spencer. Well, for me, for us inside,
Right.
it's long. But for normal voters,
Sure.
it's short. It's like if you vote on a crazy bill 2 weeks ago,
Right.
If you vote on something decent today, they've already forgotten about
Right.
that. They can't
Right.
use it in campaign literature or anything.
Right.
It's already gone. But there are things that stick. And I would
Right.
argue that the DeSanctimonious things sticking for life.
Right.
For Lonnie Paxton leading a charge against Donald Trump for DeSantis,
but
I
keep
don't
in
think
mind-
he'll ever win an office in this state.
But keep in mind, illegal aliens had the drunk illegal that killed the 4 kids last week.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
If he'd had an Oklahoma driver's license, tell me, how would that have been better?
It's not better. It's not better.
What would that have fixed?
The only thing it would have fixed is if he thought he could get one, then they deport him when he goes to get it. That'd be like you could pass a law saying, come ask about it so we can introduce you to these nice people.
Right. But that's what they tried to tell us is that, well, this is, if we give them a license, we know where they're at. And do we really? Because who says that they're giving you correct, accurate information to even get the license to begin with?
That's correct, right.
So
it's all a lie.
It is. So, but that's what Trump can't get him out here fast enough. I'm with him. It's cost us way too much for way too long. And the issue of, well, you're breaking up families. Nope, send the kids back with them.
Yeah, for
sure. And the families kept together.
There's ways to do that.
And here's the other part too.
By the way, there's ways to work here within the law.
You're an attorney.
Yeah.
Someone robs a bank, and they get home with the money. The kids are there. Cops show up. There's the perpetrator. Okay, we're going to arrest the perpetrator. Oh, so the kids get to keep the money since he managed to get home with it?
Yeah.
That's basically what we're doing here.
That's what birthright citizenship is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was
according to Trump, and I think he's right, we're about the only country in the world that Europe has done away with it almost completely.
Right.
So what I was saying though is political memory typically is very short. Right. I thought at the time, and it's been proven that in this issue, it's elephant.
It will not go away.
It will never go away.
It will not go away.
That vote will stick to them.
Right.
And you know what other vote was going to stick for life?
What's that?
Voting to allow illegal aliens to get welfare.
Yes.
That vote will never go away.
Right.
And what
to get welfare or to keep it? I think to keep it. Right.
To keep it. That's right. They're already getting it.
Right.
But to keep
they're already getting it, folks. There's your money.
Or they wouldn't have voted against Kyle Hilbert's Trump request bills.
Right.
But that is such a bizarre scheme. You are there a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I talked to Senator Jett about this, and we didn't walk through the whole thing, and I don't want to do it totally again, but isn't that one of the most bizarre 3 votes you've ever seen?
Yes. Yes, because they're here illegal. It's costing us money. The federal government's helping us get rid of them if we allow it.
Right.
And so we just can't do this to these compassion. What about the compassion of my family that's had to pay for this forever?
Plus, that's the far left talking points. That's the talking
it's Republicans saying it. That was your pro tem was saying.
But what's bizarre to me about that is so they wouldn't bring them up. These are Trump request bills that it's 90% issues. If you polled Oklahomans, including Democrats, 80-90% issue. And in rural Oklahoma, maybe 100%. But anyway, so for the first time, the Freedom Caucus, who are doing an amazing job, they said, well, we can't get this floor, so we're going to use the rules, even though some senators call it unconstitutional.
Right.
We're going to use the rules that, by the way, the pro tem uses a few days later, but they use the rules to pull the bill up.
The hypocrisy, you're right.
They use the rules to pull this vote up, and it goes down. They won't even vote to actually let it have a vote.
Right.
And they think that that's some kind of technical vote.
And then they'll say, well, I didn't vote for the bill. Well, yeah, but all you did was interrupt it.
So they had, according to Shane, Senator Jett, they had 4 hours. So they knew the bill, all the members knew the bill was coming. So they had 4 hours, the leadership did, to coach their members, the Swamp 7 and others. Now, these ones, they gave them the advice that, you better not vote against this. You guys better vote yes. But all the ones that are up in 2 years that this will be on campaign literature, just heads up.
Right.
Now, if you have conservative leadership, Gillespie and Arian Hart and those others that voted, maybe they can protect you. But if you want to stick with Lonnie, he's going to throw you under the bus in 2 years again. But anyway, so he threw them under the bus, but told these guys, you better vote yes. So then he gets probably the crap chewed out of him, which again, I'm not trying to say that Lonnie, because sometimes the pro tem does take bullets to try to help members, right? So maybe he thought he was doing best, but clearly some people didn't think so. Because a few days later, he pulls the bill using the exact same rules, by the way, that were unconstitutional a few days earlier on videos that are still on Facebook, by the way. So he uses the same rules to pull it again so they can cast green votes. Not these guys, but the other guys. So that in 2 years, I guess the voters won't remember when they voted for illegals to continue getting welfare, but they'll vote.
Well, they'll try to keep them confused, but the bottom line is they aborted a bill.
They did. They voted no.
It had a chance to be alive, and they killed it.
The clear vote is, and what I would put on campaign literature is you voted to continue welfare.
But it wasn't a baby, so it didn't count.
That's right.
That's kind of what we're doing here.
But then on the last day of session, it was brought up again.
Yeah.
And so they voted to table it. But they all voted, if my understanding is correctly, to table it.
Yeah.
Because how do you not know that that's the same vote? I mean, the voters,
And then when you table it, we all know that's just a nice way of killing it.
that is just, it's
And
actually
all it was.
It's actually worse than the no vote on bringing
Correct.
it up, actually, in my
Correct.
opinion. And those are not recorded, but I think they took pictures of it.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is the most bizarre.
I'm glad it
thing.
doesn't bother you.
Yeah.
Glad it doesn't bother you.
No, it doesn't bother me at all. So we didn't cover the last two, I don't think.
The last two.
Or three, maybe.
Well, Ali Seyfried, she was actually walked the vote, was in the chamber, and would not vote on
The tabling motion.
on the table on one of the motions.
I think it was the
forget which
tabling one, yeah.
Brenda Stanley, she's got the best track record for your illegal aliens because she not only voted for them once, she voted for them twice.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, she in two separate bills, 2 separate years. That's how good she likes that. And Representative Woods, he stuck with the swamp leadership, and it's quite unfortunate because I exchanged text with him trying to get him to go with conservative. He said, "Nope, I made a promise that I'm going to keep it."
He made a promise to me. So what's weird about Tom is, now this may have been the McCourtney vote, though. So in all fairness to Tom, I guess.
Yeah.
He was a nice guy. I actually like him a little bit. He reminds me of hopefully I was, anyway, a little more thoughtful. But he's just he's just a kid. When I meet him, this is just a kid that wants to be a senator.
Right.
That's fine. And sometimes in history, I'm sure it's perfectly fine. But in this day and time, it's not. So I went hunting. I took him prairie dog hunting up with Casey Murdoch, a good friend of mine.
Oh, wow.
Casey's awesome.
Yep.
Love Casey. We've been good friends for a long time. So I took him up there, flew him up. It's a long plane trip, by the way, because I flew all the way to the Fort Smith practically, and then flew all the way to Colorado. And so took him up there. Not that he should vote for me because of that, but I took him up there. We had a great time, me, him, and Cowboy Stevens and Casey Murdoch. And he commits, shakes hands with Casey Murdoch, then turns around and flips, like literally in the last moment. I mean, I would have won pro tem if it wasn't for his last minute flip. And one thing that sticks with me about Tom, and I like Tom, so this is not personal.
Oh, it's not personal for me
and I
either.
don't have a personal grudge against him for not voting for him. He has a right to do whatever he wants to do.
Right.
He shouldn't lie, but other than that, he's got a right to vote. And but me and my buddy Joe Newhouse,
Right.
I miss dearly. I don't see him, talk to him much as I used to, but we sat by each other forever on the floor. And Joe, I said, Joe, you got to help me with this kid. I mean, I think he needs to understand that when he makes a commitment, he's got to keep his commitment. Can you come out with me and talk to him? So me and Joe go out there, and Joe, he goes, well, I'm going to go undecided. I'm going, there's no such thing as undecided. We're voting in like 10 minutes. I said, it was like 10 minutes before the vote. And so he goes, I'm going to go undecided. I said, Tom, there's no undecided. Just, you committed to me. End of story. You don't flip, not in the last 10 minutes. That's not cool. And so Joe, to Joe's credit, Joe's such a nice guy. And, he's very much a statesman. Love Joe. And so Joe didn't get angry, got with his kid and said, you make a commitment, you stick with it. I actually thought maybe he scared him straight, but no. But Tom's comment was, okay, fine, I guess I'll go down with the ship. And to this day, it's a joke in my mind. I'm like, what ship are you talking about? There's no ships out here.
He's fired his own torpedo on his own ship.
Yeah,
that's what he's done.
Yeah, I don't understand that statement, but it's kind of funny. It's kind of comical when you think about it, because to him, he had a lot of debt.
But also,
the guy had a lot of debt.
We're given a brain. If I made a commitment to you to do something
multiple times,
but then all of a sudden I realize, wait a minute, there's things that you're telling me here that wasn't helpful in my commitment, in my mind, to make that commitment,
right? Yeah,
or things. There's some reasons that you don't go there.
Well, if you have a rationale to change, and I think for him, I think it was that he loaned himself. This is just my guess. He loaned himself a ton of money. And he raised them $500,000 to pay them all off, and so, it's hard for a young kid, probably to deal with that.
So
not an excuse.
Like I said, no, it's not an excuse. But like I say, making a commitment on a suicide pact, which is basically what you got here, is not.
It is politically, if nothing else. Look at the illegal alien welfare thing.
Yeah,
that is talking about going down with a ship.
Yeah.
That's going to stick with them, I think, forever.
So
anyway. So we got those races. So what else, Don? What else do we have going on?
Well, that's quite a bit.
That's a lot,
Mr. Standridge.
You thought this was going to be some soft pedaling. You're not really going to get
I knew
that.
better.
I'm going to jerk that out of your hands. This is all going to be edited out. You know what we'll do? What is a good holiday coming up? So
4th of July.
Yeah. So we'll in the actual video. What happened is won't see that, and I'll have some 250th birthday graphic covering.
Okay.
So and I'll do some AI thing, and you'll be saying all sorts of stuff, and then I'll be legal counsel for the Senate. But anyway, I think we got to have more hard hitting stuff like that. We got to have people willing to come out there.
And here's the deal.
And not about personality. Nice folks, just not good sense.
I would rather be out fishing or messing in my garden.
Yes, for sure.
I have better things to do than this. But like I said, we're so close. And as you know, one vote makes a huge difference on yours. It makes a huge difference on Bullard's. And we've got to get actual constitutionally minded A++ rated versus an F rated. Folks, that's what we're dealing with here.
For OK2A, it's really literally that simple. Right?
Yes.
If you have the current leadership, it's pragmatic, it's
Right.
objective. If you have the current leadership, OK2A gets almost nothing done.
Right.
And people are paying dues. People are joining this organization saying, Don Spencer, get off your ass and get us something done.
Meanwhile, they're coming to me. Why can't we get anything passed?
That's right.
And that's what I'm hammered with.
So that's what the task for you as leader of that group is saying, how do I make the environment at the Capitol such a way that maybe I can get, instead of one thing done,
Right.
maybe I can get 10 things done or 5
Right.
things done, at least more than one. So this is a very pragmatic approach.
Right.
It's an approach that probably Julie Daniels took when she gives money to Dusty Deaver's opponent. So it's those things
that they said they would never do.
Right. And maybe they need a rule, because I think that giving money is a much bigger thing than saying, I wish Dusty Deavers got beat. I mean, giving money to an incumbent's opponent, I've never seen that done. That's the first time I've ever seen that done, I think. So maybe the first time ever.
Well,
Gene Stipe may have done
it. But here's the part of it.
But probably did it through some other
If
third
the
person.
incumbent sucks,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with
But
it.
you're not in the Senate, is what I'm saying. You're an activist.
I'm pretty close to it, but yeah.
Yeah. But so we didn't touch on beforehand. We mentioned Adam Pugh, Senator Adam
Right.
Pugh. He's maybe the worst chairman I've ever served with in my life. He's all about personality. Voted against my bill to get rid of pornography out of school libraries and said it was big government, and then he passed biggest school choice bill in history. Anyway, and then he votes for the similar bill from Warren Hamilton a year later when he's running for state. But on this whole idea of what happens, he's running for superintendent,
Right.
one of the most feckless positions in all of politics. So what happens if he wins that position, besides getting him out of the Senate?
That's what. If we get him out of the Senate, that would be theoretically one less vote against our Senate leadership that we want.
We were talking about that, though. So we absolutely, as an attorney, I'd say absolutely that's true, because once Election Day happens, whether you've sworn it or not, you're not a senator. Once Election Day happens, the formalities happen afterwards.
Right.
But that's why the Senate caucus retreat happens almost right after it, because in
Right.
fact, swearing in usually happens the second day of retreat.
Right.
And so those are new senators. They're senators elect. He will be a superintendent elect.
I would predict out of that race that Hassenbeck will probably go far, and I would say John Cox, that those will be the top three: Pugh, Cox, and
There will be a runoff, I'm
right.
sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, yeah, there'll be a runoff.
So it'll be a runoff between
Right.
two of those three.
Right, and we should go down our statewide list here too.
Yeah, sure.
Let's for state attorney
These are
general.
OK2A endorsements.
These are OK2A endorsement. Now, I just mentioned was not an endorsement. We've not made endorsement of the state superintendent.
Oh, you have
race.
not? Okay. Well, my good friend JT is running there, and I have endorsed JT. I have not really endorsed
Great
anybody,
guy.
but I've endorsed JT.
I it's hard to see that he's got the traction
I
that it's
got
going to
that.
do, but I'm just being a realist here. I'm not.
Well, you're not me, so
That's fine,
This
yeah.
is a personal thing for me.
Right.
But when I first ran for office, besides my good friend Pastor Scowden and Grizzle, I mean, he was one of the very first people that prayed at some of my
Absolutely.
events.
Great
JT's
guy.
an awesome guy. But anyway, so you haven't endorsed anybody there. What about governor? Have you endorsed anybody
We've
there?
not in governor. We're setting back and basically
Waiting for the
our
runoff.
membership. Yeah, because our membership is all over the place.
would bet so.
Just like our board of directors
Yeah.
is all over. So we just said we're not.
Okay.
The lieutenant governor, same thing. We've not because we've got.
Well, now T.W. Shannon has the Trump endorsement. I assume he's the favorite to win that. But then you have J.J. Humphrey, who I love to death.
It's
He's awesome.
possible it's possible TW could win it outright.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, I've heard that.
possible.
I've heard that.
For Attorney General, we have endorsed John Eccles. John Eccles is an excellent. He's let's say he got awards from us for 12 years.
Yeah.
He was the author for Constitutional Carry. He helped me get legislation through there. Did I get everything I want? No, but man, we got a bunch.
Well, we came in together. John and I came in together. And
Oh,
left
okay.
Together, yeah.
And so for a state labor commissioner would be Kevin West. Same thing. He was the
Kevin's
presenter
awesome.
for Constitutional. I don't know that you'll find a more conservative
Yeah.
person in that building than
Yeah,
Kevin
Kevin's
West.
awesome.
And maybe Jay Stiegel. I better watch that. Well, Denise Crosswhite hater. Well, you're Fab Five.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But Kevin is
anyway.
awesome.
And so state insurance commissioner is Marty Quinn.
I was
We
hoping you were
endorsed
gonna
him.
say Marty Quinn.
Yeah, good guy.
I wonder if he has, Marty's run his own race, so I wouldn't ask him this if he was here. But, he's a dear friend of mine. He was one of the most awesome senators I ever served with. Claire Moore,
Right.
Holly Seafruit, who's on your list. I wonder if he wishes that because I'm sure didn't get involved in that race. Maybe some part of him says, well, maybe I should have voiced an opinion in that race.
I don't know.
But I don't know. Maybe
since,
she didn't have
since
a good
he's a
opponent.
candidate, I've not had that conversation. Your speculation does not sound completely out of line.
Yeah, I bet he won someday. But maybe of the candidates there just wasn't somebody that really jumped out.
And on the state treasurer,
Okay.
same thing. We've got people with Cindy Bird or Russ, and we've endorsed both of them previously.
Yeah.
And we've got members that are
Huh.
for them. So we've
I would think Todd Rush would be a favorite since he's the current treasurer, but I know Cindy Bird's very popular as well.
I don't know. And there's stuff that's come up about how the office has been handling, and I've been wondering if it's going to get more explored. And then you're concerned, is it for political gain that's taken place?
Yeah.
So anyway,
I don't know. That's an office where
We're just
most
standing
voters
back.
don't really pay much
I just know this. Cindy Bird was tough when she was accused of all these terrible things, and you had this the case on the schools.
Epic, yeah.
Epic, and she was all these terrible things. So I invited her to an OK2A meeting. She drew in 250 people or so there, and goes over this whole thing line by line of what was going on. And it was very well explained what was going on.
She did a good job.
So,
she's tough as nails.
and that was a lot of criticism that was really not accurate towards her. So I admire that.
That was such a mess.
It was. It still
hard
is.
It was hard to know what the truth was.
still
It
is.
was such a mess. Yeah.
I will say back to the governor's race.
Yeah.
For me personally, this is Don Spencer. It's anybody but Gettner Drummond.
Gettner Drummond, yeah.
He would not return an OK2A survey. All of the other candidates did.
I wonder why that is. Because I'm sure he lives out in the country. I'm sure he's pro-gun. Why wouldn't he just turn it in?
Someone convinced him not to do that.
Okay.
And
Bad advice, I think,
but he
actually.
also would not show up for our candidate forum, which 5 or 6 other candidates did.
Yeah.
And so if you won't do our survey, if you won't show up in forums, and there's a lot of forums he doesn't show up, or debates he's not showing up at, what are you hiding?
Well, the survey, the OK2A, I mean, that's a pragmatic, objective thing.
Right.
It's not.
It's a job application.
It's a job, right? So for your membership, if you don't, regardless of the office, I assume, if you don't fill out the survey, it's going to be tough for OK2A to say, okay, I'm going to put you on a level playing field with the other 4 or 5 candidates.
It's not going to happen.
Right.
I have that agreement with our board of directors that we're not doing endorsements without a survey.
Yeah, you need that. Right. Yeah.
Right. And here's part of it too. We want to see if you're willing to work with us.
Right.
It's the most basic job application there is when it comes to that.
Yeah, and it's been a number of years since I filled out the survey, but again,
you'll want to know this. It's still in English.
Okay, well,
So,
good.
yeah,
you give other language forms as well. So, are we missing any state races, or is that all of them?
I think
that's
that was all of them. The
Okay.
one, the auditor has already been filled, so I believe that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that I think there's going to be some surprises in this election. There certainly
Always
was
is.
There 2 years ago was. I don't think I was that. I was a little surprised with the McCourtney one. I didn't know if that one.
Little?
Yeah, I was. I knew it was going to be close as I was aware of the money
Yeah.
and different things, but I just thought it might be difficult for somebody to beat. Somebody so entrenched.
Well, it made national news.
It did, but I thought the other two were going down big time. I didn't
Yeah.
think Garvin was going to beat that seat where she's in. I think Kendall Sacchieri is going to be.
She'll be there for a while. She'll be the first one reelected to that position.
I think so.
In a long time.
I think so. She's awesome, and then I think Julie's got that for how long? Julie, who's a sweet mate with Lisa, I mean, she is just phenomenal.
But that's just it. You get just a few more of these constitutionally minded people, and we can turn this state around.
There's no question. And like you said, there are always going to be people in the middle that just don't seem to care, and they're just going to go wherever leadership. And that, in this instance, if that happens, it won't be necessarily a bad thing.
But like I say,
maybe they're afraid to be who they are, and this will free them up, right?
Well, that's true too. But like I say, it will be the first time that constitutional conservative has ever been in the pro tem office, ever.
So Glenn Coffey was the first Republican pro tem. Okay. So what you're saying is this would be, well, yeah. I mean, I like those guys.
But you can go back in those years, and you'll see what our gun rights did was nothing.
Yeah, true that. I always say this though, and I know the reality. My good friend Anthony Sykes would tell me to, but Anthony, I think, agrees with me on this. Great guy, great senator, would probably agree with me on this analysis. Brian Bingman, I don't want to call him moderate, conservative. I think pragmatic's a better word for him. I've worked with a lot of leaders in this country, outside, all over the world, here in business and in politics. He is I have to say, he's one of the best leaders I've worked with. I would be in a meeting with him, and he would be fair to everybody. Now, his caucus at times leaned a little bit left to center. At times we leaned a little bit right to center. But he never didn't appear to put his finger on the scale, except when it came to energy. He would sometimes put his thumb on the scale then, 'cause energy guy. But I'll never forget one of Kendall's predecessors of many,
right?
Corey Brooks. You remember Corey Brooks?
Oh yeah,
he was there probably when you started.
Yeah, we got him kicked out.
Yeah, so he was there. He probably maybe one of the early races where OK2A.
Right, yeah, actually that was.
So you had Paul Scott, who's a dear friend of mine, came in, but I got along with Corey fine. But Corey was definitely far left to center for a Republican.
Right.
And so I'll never forget this. We were all freshmen, and the bill came up for the incentive on horizontal drilling. So they wanted to increase the incentive, but also protect the vertical wells. And Mike Mazie, Senator Mazie, who's now running for governor, who is also a good friend of mine, great guy, he was leading the charge on trying to change, because I think Mike thought it was unfair for the small people. And so I think Mike was one of the folks. But anyway, the freshmen, for whatever reason, we were kind of split. I was actually for it, because I mean, I have friends in both sides of that industry, and both sides I talked to said this is fine. This incentive works for both of us. But anyway, half of them was mixed, and we were called to the principal's office and Schultz's floor leader's office as freshmen, and not to force us to vote, but I think Schultz's goal was to talk through it with us and understand that it's not just people putting personal pressure on us, which is I think what they thought. And so we're in there, and Schultz comes in there for just a minute, and he leaves, and he goes, well, the pro team will be here in a minute. And so we're in there, and me and Nathan Dahl, Corey Brooks, and the rest of them. There's 7 of us. And we're chatting away, and all of a sudden Corey Brooks, for some reason, just stands up. He likes to speak. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he loves to rehearse. But anyway, so he just starts lambasting Bingman for some reason. He didn't vote for me. He can't tell me how to vote. All of this, I'm just railing. He's been going for like a couple minutes, and Brian Bingman's a very quiet guy, and during that time he had just kind of slipped in the room, and Corey had no idea, and Corey just keeps going, and finally I think Nathan or somebody kind of motions to him, and so he sits down. From that tirade. And it wasn't as angry as Bill Coleman, by the way. But that tirade in today's leadership, he'd never have another bill heard.
Well, also, you're good on history. Yeah. 2014, Brian Bingman got an award from Higher Education for killing Second Amendment legislation.
Okay, fair enough.
He was presented.
No, I'm not defending him in that area. But he went on and always treated Corey. I knew he went out of his way not to give favor to Corey, to make sure he treated him fairly.
Right. Oh yeah.
He put him on the bill. Why would anybody want on the re-innovation committee for the bill? But Corey desperately, for some reason, wanted on that. He put him on that. He did, and he did that with everybody. I could tell he didn't like some members, but he never used that as a hammer like Treat and Ronnie do to say, I don't like you, Don, thus you're dead to me. You're not going to get another bill heard.
from what I would
Which is
understand,
what he's
too,
done to Kendall and Lisa and Julie and all those great people.
from what I've heard David Bullard speak, that if someone has a bill that's worthy of being heard, it's about the bill. It's not about the person.
That's correct. Yeah, David would be that. In fact,
And
I would almost argue that David. No, I'm not going to say anything bad. David is a phenomenal guy. He's very fair, strong Christian man. David would make a phenomenal leader.
Right.
Absolutely phenomenal leader. And he would be fair.
Hey, if you get
he'd probably be more fair than me. Let me just put it that way.
If you're getting 19 votes, something's going right.
That's right.
Out of
Right.
the 20.
Right.
So,
very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, what else? Anything we didn't touch on, Don?
Man, that's like a whiplash whirlwind. I don't know. Pretty much. Just folks, make sure you vote OK2A at OK2A.org. We have a list of the endorsements of who we strongly suggest that you vote for, and that you get out and do it. Republicans are the worst for not getting out and voting in June or August.
That is true.
So we've got to change that. But like I say, if you want this state better, you have to get out and make sure you vote these people out of office. This is the problem right here.
Well, thanks, Don. Thanks for being here. Awesome
Appreciate
job.
it. You bet.
Appreciate you as always.
You bet. Thank you now.
Good job, Don.
Sometimes it just turns out.